How to develop reading habit. Introduction. Reading is one of the most enjoyable activities in the world. However, reading can be difficult if you don't have the right habits in place. In this article we will discuss some of the best ways to develop your reading habit and increase your enjoyment of books. Find a quiet spot with no distractions. Find a quiet spot with no distractions. This may sound obvious, but it's so easy to get distracted while reading. Make sure you find a place where there are no interruptions and can focus on what you're reading. If possible, try to read in silence or at least in the same room as your favorite music playing. This will help block out all other noises. You could even try getting away from people if that works better for you. Keep the book you're currently reading with you always. Don't leave your book in the house. Don't leave it in your car. Don't leave it at work, school or any other place where you spend a lot of time unless it's an absolute necessity. You will only use this space for other things and have no idea how long until those things are done anyway. And if someone else wants to read your book and borrows it from the library, that's fine. You know what they say about libraries being full of books that aren't yours anyway. Keep this rule with all of your other belongings. No one should be able to take anything away from you without asking first. Don't read things you don't like. Many people read things they don't like, or that are too difficult. There's nothing wrong with reading something you find enjoyable and interesting, but if you're not enjoying it, if it takes too much effort for the grade level of your book, don't do it. You also need to make sure that your reading material is appropriate for your age and skill level or lack thereof. If there are some words in the text which might be new and confusing to someone who doesn't know how to read yet, then leave them out. This will help everyone who picks up this book later down the line because they won't have any trouble understanding what's going on at all levels of difficulty due to their own experiences with similar material when younger than now. Don't read in bed unless you genuinely do it in your free time as well as just before going to sleep. Reading in bed is not good for your eyes, it's not good for your posture, and it can be dangerous if you fall asleep with a book in your hand. You should also avoid reading before bed on weekdays because this will make it difficult to get enough sleep. If you do read before going to sleep on weekends or holidays, then try to take frequent breaks so that you don't feel tired after just 1 hour of reading. Designate at least 30 minutes for reading every day. The first step to developing a reading habit is making sure you designate at least 30 minutes for reading every day. If you're like most people, this may be hard to do when everything else in your life demands attention. That's why we suggest starting with 10 minutes and working up from there. If it seems too easy for now, try 20 minutes instead of 30, and keep increasing until it becomes second nature. Have a book on hand to read whenever you have a few minutes of waiting time. To develop a reading habit, you should have a book on hand to read whenever you have a few minutes of waiting time. You can keep it in your bag or car and read it while waiting for the bus, or even when waiting for food to cook. You can also use this method when traveling. If there's an unexpected delay with your flight, simply pull out another book to distract yourself from the stress of being stuck at the airport. Do not try to read while watching TV or listening to music or any other kind of background noise, distracting smells, and so on. You should not try to read while watching TV or listening to music or any other kind of background noise, distracting smells, and so on. This is because distractions can break your concentration and make you lose the plot of what you have just read. In this way, even if you have enjoyed reading a book before, your eyes could be distracted by something else which makes it difficult for them to focus on what's in front of them. It also means that when we're trying to read something important in life, like learning how to play an instrument, our mind will wander off because we're focusing on other tasks at hand instead of concentrating on what's really important, mastering our craft. If there are no interruptions during reading time, then this would mean there won't be anything distracting us from getting into deeper levels within ourselves through self-discovery processes like introspection and meditation, which help develop awareness within ourselves through experiencing different emotions such as sadness, joy, anger, etc. Make sure you always have a book with you wherever you go so that if there is some unexpected free time, or a delay, or transportation is cancelled or whatever, train or plane delays and so on, that you can just pick up your book and read. Make sure you always have a book with you wherever you go so that if there is some unexpected free time, or a delay, or transportation is cancelled or whatever, train or plane delays and so on, that you can just pick up your book and read. Keep the book you're currently reading with you always. If it gets too heavy to hold onto in public, it's not worth keeping around at all. Don't read things that aren't worth reading anyway, e.g., magazines. Reading habit grows gradually. Reading habit is not just developing one day, it is a process that takes time. It may take months or even years to develop your reading habit, but it's worth the effort. The more you read, the better you get at it. The key to building a reading habit is consistency. The more often you read something in your chosen genre and other types of books, the stronger your motivation will be to keep going back for more. Conclusion: reading is a habit. It takes time to develop the habit of reading, but once it is developed, it can be an extremely beneficial habit for your personal development and happiness.